I got a question. This is basically, on today's topic. Now, you guys, or today's society, this is, basically a pretty kind of constant, and I think, a pretty hot topic. You both have been, you've had your upbringings. You guys have gone through what you guys have gone through. You guys are now, both approaching, 30, or are you 30 yet, Brandon?
Yep.
So you are at 30.
30.
Taylor, you on your way, huh?
About a week and a half. Almost.
Wow. So look, you got to think about that. It's like a completely different phase. So no longer even in your 20s anymore. You guys are established now, like careers. You got to think there was a period of time you guys have gone through, the phases of the growth. I'm saying it not really from the perspective of what you guys done as men, but throughout that process, it's giving you guys a different view on life as you've gone through it. And this specific topic is just about specifically regarding relationships. Today's society, when there's relationships, back in the day, if you guys have had parents, grandparents, great grandparents, or seen anything about how relationships were previous compared to how relationships are today, a lot of the things, buzzwords, or you see these topics and people doing these online discussions and everything like that regarding modern versus traditional relationships. And when I bring up modern versus traditional relationships, I just kind of want to get your guys' thought. Like, how is it for you based off today? If you guys are in relationships, how the dynamics of that is, what you guys feel like, how those relationships should be. And, what does that seem like? Because most people, I would say I'm Generation X. So I'm in my later 40s, and the people older than me and older than that, there tend to be more traditional based values. Nowadays, we see more things are just partner based. And that's where I would kind of say modern. The way that I look at it is, to me, modern has been more a partner based relationship or mindset of going in. And it's not that traditional based didn't have that, but it still was more hierarchy and role based. Roles were primarily probably based on gender, more than anything else, but it still was a working foundation that, has been there. So I just kind of want to get your guys' thoughts, and, we can take this conversation as far as deep, you can talk about it in regards to your personal, lives, but just, for you, like, if you can, state your age, where you guys, are, where you guys live at. And then if you can just kind of give like your answer to that question.
Yeah. 29, getting ready to be 30 in about a week and a half. And I'm in a suburb of Dallas, Texas, out in Irving. I guess I would say my relationship right now probably leans more towards the modern side, where it's more of a partnership. That's the view that I take on it. I look at it as like one bucket, and each of us fills the bucket with what we can at that time. So if I just feel like it's a more contribution based, and not I'm higher than her, she's lower than me, or vice versa. I look at it as something that we just contribute to together equally, if that makes sense.
It does. What when you say equally, what are you guys contributing? Is that going towards something?
Just towards goals, the greater goods. We have a young child that we're raising, so we both put in time equally with him. I feel like I don't look at it as traditional, where she has a certain set of duties that she is responsible for, and I have a certain set of duties. Like, I still, as my role in the relationship, I still am. I feel like a leader and a provider and a protector, but that doesn't mean that my woman is only held to just cooking and cleaning. Like, I just feel like it's more than that between us. Whereas, like, I still cook and clean, and I'll do other things that's probably seen as like a woman's role. Like, I just feel there's no gender roles in our relationships.
What about you, Brian?
I guess for me, in our relationship, I'm 30, and living in Los Angeles, and I almost don't even look at it as modern or traditional, just in the sense of like, but it does probably lean more modern, but kind of how we operate is, if something in the house needs to get done and one of us sees it, it just gets done. And that's just like, if dinner needs to get cooked, and I work from home and she works at her job, so it's easier for me to cook most of the time. And I feel like the first thing that comes to my mind when I think of a traditional relationship is the man works, provides, and the woman stays home. But I feel like that sort of relationship from that standpoint is being pushed out more and more just based on the times we're living in and what it takes to really get where you want to get to. So when I think traditional, that's the first thing I think of. And it's almost not possible if you are trying to reach a certain point, in my opinion.
Right. And, to actually expound on that, reach a certain point. And because I think that is probably the key. I think today in modern society, there's a certain point. I don't know what that is for, the people coming up, but there's a point, a mindset or something that they want to achieve. What is that? You guys, are probably living it more than I am. What is that?
Well, for starters, the poverty line in California is, if you're making under 100K, that's considered the poverty. So just to hit that, it's hard to hit that as an individual today, especially if you're younger than 30, and you're just, early 20s, just getting out of college, you're probably not there. So I guess for California, the point is, if you want like the traditional American dream, you want the house. The house is going to cost like $600-700K if you're going to be where we grew up, minimum. So if you're trying to hit that, that's kind of the point. I think that would be what I would say the baseline point is. If you want the house, the car, the lifestyle where you're vacationing every year. Yeah.
So then, and I would actually say that all relationships, even ones that are considered traditional, there's always been both parties working. I just think it's, when they say roles, I think roles of cooking, cleaning, I think that just has been kind of defined over time. But I truly think it's just about men have been better, or always, and I shouldn't say better. Men have been tasked to go out and get resources, right? Like to be visionary for resources. And it's really kind of been one of probably the three main values that women find in men. One of them is, if she can see, doesn't matter exact. I promise. A lot of women want a ready-made man now, but a lot of them, they always get a guy, oh, he had ambition, or he was, I saw he had potential. They look to see, it's really, really funny. If they can see, if a man's future resources, potential, if she can see that, he's extremely valuable to her. So yeah, no, I mean, men typically have kind of gone that route as far as the resources aspect. And then, there's been other things as far as the life of making sure that the balance is there that women have done over time. Again, I'm not saying that there's any specific gender role. I was just, overall, I think that there is. Let me ask you, let me go with this. So from traditional to modern says partnership. Tradition, as I kind of said, they're typically in tradition, there's a hierarchy. So it means like there's going to be someone that may have like a level of authority. And it doesn't mean like, hey, I'm in control, but it's a level of like, maybe this is like what trumps everything as the final say, of a decision or something like that. How does that work for modern day relationships? And if you want to talk about yours specifically, you can, but just like, how does that work?
I can't really say it for everyone else, but it just a vibe check from what I get from like social media and stuff. It does seem like it's kind of leaning out of the male being the dominant, or not dominant, but like having the final say. So for us, I don't know. It's kind of, I guess it could lean not towards that because we're aligned on a lot of things, and we kind of just talk about if there's something that there's contention in, we kind of could talk about it and come to a point where it's like, all right, it makes sense.
Does that always happen?
I'm trying to think now of like what if there's a situation where it doesn't? I mean, not a lot. If I can't even think of anything off the top of my head where something like that has happened for a major issue.
No, let me see. No, Caitlin, you said you actually have kids, right?
Yep.
And Brandon, you have one?
God kid.
Oh, okay.
Eh,
Got it. Okay. So let's say then, Kaylin, would you say that your situation is similar then to Brandon as far as that? Would you
yes.
say that?
So I feel like it's important, like in our household, that we have an understanding of our goals and things that we have set out for ourselves in the past that we need to take to get there. And so sometimes it does take me reminding myself and reminding my partner like what we need to do to get to where we're going. So I do think that's important in modern relationships is if not both of you guys doing it, having somebody that's willing to step up and constantly provide the roadmap to guide you or to get to where you guys are trying to go.
Let me ask you, what what decides the direction that you guys are like? What is the plan? When do you guys decide the plan? So modern relationships, how does that? This is like legitimate question. Like when does the plan, as far as like your future, get decided?
It should be said ideally at the beginning of
as early as possible.
That's when it should be said, and I think it should be said between the both of you guys. Both of you should have equal say as far as the path forward.
So then if it's set, is it defining then in that what each other is doing as far as that plan, what they're responsible for?
I would say so. I think it's important to communicate like, hey, this is what I need from you to help us get there. And I would like you to tell me what you need from me to help us get there as well. That makes sense. So it's explaining.
But it is going to be a defined goal amongst the both of you. And there's going to be a defined like path that you both are taking.
I would say so, yeah.
And that would definitely help with eliminating tension. If someone's veering off, it's like, hey, this is the plan that we set. This is not me coming at you personally. This is the plan we set. You're veering off, so you're adhering to the plan.
Okay, so boy, you must be reading my mind. You knew exactly where I was going. So who determines the accountability?
The plan. And both of you at the beginning.
But how do you know when you're off?
That was a good point. Yeah, it would help if that was determined in the part of the planning of goals. Or if it's just a feeling like, hey, let's reevaluate the plan, or where are we at? Okay, it kind of looks like, you've been doing this. I mean, it's not really aligning. Can we get back on track?
And there's no guarantee that, in any kind of way, I guess does that ever happen? I mean, I'm not saying it's happened obviously in your guys' relationships that you guys are currently in the past. I mean, has it happened? What ends up taking place? Like, how does that get resolved? Let's say it does go kind of off track, right? How do you then get back on? Like, how do you? I'm curious. Like, how does it get back? It's got to be communication. I understand. And if a person wants to get back to the plan, I mean, I guess they can. But how does it? Is it just normal communication, or what is the process?
I've had a situation like that where we've come up with plans, and for us, it's going back to the plan, reevaluating it, bringing back up, what the plan looks like. And then it's like, all right, we got to make adjustments. And when I say we, even if it's for one person, we both have to contribute to making the adjustments that are needed for that. So it's kind of revamp, like re-going over the initial plan from the base, from start to finish.
So that means you have to build in probably specific checkpoints.
Yeah.
That you guys can check in to make sure each other is doing what is needed to be done.
Yeah, almost like a job. Like if you were applying to a job, or when I was applying to jobs, it was like I wanted to come in with a plan. Like, all right, this is what I want to have done in the first 3 months, the first 6 months, year, 3 years, 5 years. So I definitely, if you want to do that for a job, you definitely want to bring that into a relationship, just to have that roadmap.
Is there any job where you've had someone that was next to you where you guys contributed to the same result and you both were rewarded for it?
Not in like a peer-to-peer way, but I have like clients that you could say where we have an end goal, but they're a client I'm servicing, and we both do our roles to get to that end goal. So not from a peer level, but from a similar perspective with the same end goal.
And then, like, so Kaylin, and for you, I was going to ask like earlier, so you have a kid, right? So in your situation, let's say, you know, you and your family, you've got your relationship, you also have a child. So let's say you guys in the plan that you have, you know, it can be an entire plan for your lives, and part of that is going to be your kid. And let's just say for whatever reason, the plan for your kid isn't on track. You know, you guys have said, hey, I'm supposed to be doing this. You know, hey, babe, you're supposed to be doing that. And then you guys have your check-in, you realize, wait, we both haven't been doing this. So actually it's our path and plan for our kid isn't really set up. And what if the alignment for your kid isn't going in the same direction? Now, in a modern relationship, you say you have a partner, and then you guys have to come up, you know, and figure out how to get back on the same page. But now you're talking about it's not you and each other. You're talking about someone else. So, and typically a lot of times when that happens, sometimes you may not have the same meetings of the mind. How do you get back on the same page?
That's a good question. I feel like it's hard for me to answer because we haven't run into that yet. I feel like that's something I would have to learn to navigate through. So that's a bit hard for me to answer, but
no worries.
And I know,
and again,
I would.
I'm not here to stump or cause any issues or anything like that. It's just I'm really trying to because I think the way, and I didn't mean to cut you off. I just think the dynamics of relationships have changed so much, and the reality is that people have to understand how to go about the dynamics. There's gonna be, I don't think there's ever gonna be just straight traditional relationships all throughout the world anymore. It's over. But there's aspects of it that's important. There's aspects, you know, this world is modern and we do desire and require things, and the world is more modern now to make those things happen. So both parties have to work more and kind of do some of the same things that we probably didn't have to do with each other in the past. But then when we start having families, it changes. It really kind of changes when the families come in with the kids. So, and it's funny because each of you represent kind of the two different scenarios. You know, it's like, Brandon, you don't have a family yet, and Kaylin, you do. Nothing, you know, negative or positive about the differences of either. It's just the different phases. So it's like the route to get there of wherever you guys are going is completely different. The roles and responsibilities is, you know, the father, you know, the man or woman, and they're so different right now for each of you. So there's going to be a completely different path. So I was just kind of really trying to understand like how we kind of really go through that.
But I would just add that another factor that I think is affecting, you know, pushing people towards more of a modern relationship is kind of the external factors that might be playing a role in relationships. Like there's a lot more external variables that could weigh on a relationship now. I guess from my perspective as someone who might not have lived through a more traditional era of relationships, whether it be like political or income driven or what.
Social media.
Yeah, social. Yeah. Yeah, that's the biggest one actually.
Well, social media has changed it. I mean, the reality is people can connect with so many others now. You guys grew up in it, you know, based off your age. You guys basically grew up going through the whole social media world. I didn't, I mean, it was much later in life, and I jumped on it way later. I didn't have no desire for it. It was definitely a humbling experience sometimes, being out there, meeting people, and they're like, "What's your IG?" I'm like, "I don't do none of that. I don't even know what any of that stuff is." I'm seeing people always put a hashtag on something. I'm like, man, what is all this hashtag? Man, that's the number sign. What they talking about? Hashtag.
Yep.
Like it was just, strange, so behind the time. Yeah, it has changed because you have access to so many people. It used to be the person you met, you had to see him. If you didn't see him, how could you meet him?
Yeah, that's
It was
changed.
just, right now, you just quickly meet somebody and they could be anywhere, any part of the world. And you can talk to them, you can video, you can do whatever, and people fall for it because it seems real. But yeah, it's a trip, man. It's a completely different, time, as far as that. I mean, overall, like, how hard was it for you to match with the women that you guys have in your life? Like, I mean, you guys, I don't know what your experiences are as far as in the past, but like, seriously, like, what you have someone now, there's a lot of other women in the world. What makes these relationships and these women the ones that you decided that, hey, this, relationship for today's society, this, mattered? Because as men, you're just not seeing as many men, and especially black men, let me ask, are you in relationships, or are you guys married?
Engaged.
Engaged?
Be married in less than a year.
Oh, okay. So on your way. And how about you, Caleb?
Not yet engaged.
Not yet engaged. So you got to think about this. You got two black men, on their way as far as to having, marriages. Now I'll ask you this. This really is neither here nor there, but are you guys, are you black women or women that are outside your race?
Black.
Right.
So two, black men getting married to black women. And I just want you to understand, this is not an applause or celebration or nothing like that. But the fact of the matter is it is happening less and less, overall. And, it's one of the most important things that you can do is being able to connect and like get to that next level to where you will have a family. Because the best thing you can do is get back to the world, that what the world is giving you. It's giving you life, it's giving you dreams, it's giving you, the opportunities, and you're living them, and you get to enjoy it. Now you get to enjoy it with someone that you guys trust. And then you're going to be, and Caitlin, you've already done it. You've already created, and you're building legacy from that. Like, that's the best thing that you could possibly do, and do it the right way and give them a better experience so they can go ahead and give back, because that person is going to connect with someone else, just like the world gave you the ladies that you're connected to. If the world didn't do it, and they didn't do a good job, and I'm assuming they did a good job with the ladies you have, you got to really think, like, how would the world have them out there? And so it's really important that people understand, like, that is a whole damn process. Like, it's not just, I met her, she was beautiful, and we went and moved forward. So I would like for you guys, at least, just these last few minutes, if you can just share with me, like, what is it, what drew you to that you guys wanted to move forward for marriage, number one. Two, Kaylin, you have a family. Brandon, you can elaborate on what your plans are for that, and just what is it about these ladies? So at least the other single ladies that are out there that are, looking for, both of you look like nice looking men. I assume you both do well in life. Brandon, you talking about 6 figures in California. Kaylin, you out there in Texas with a kid. I mean, I assume, both you gentlemen do well. What did it require for you to have these desires, and what did it require for these ladies to capture your attention?
For me, I could start. It's a bit of a unique situation in today's age because we met in high school. And so the relationship has been there for a long time. It was on and off, like at later high school and in early college, but like we've been together now for a long time. So it's kind of having that relationship and growing up as like a kid to an adult and having that connection build through that whole time is pretty unique. And so I guess just having that type of connection for me is what made me want to take the next step.
You saying from high school till now? I mean, you're 30 years old. That's a long time.
Mhm.
So, I mean, there's very few men that I've met that are very few men that I've met that are still with their ladies from high school. What about her? So there's a connection, but what about her was able to maintain you and that level of commitment?
Just the connection, I guess, and just I guess we've just thought the same at every level coming up, and just building and kind of developing a relationship together from high school to college to being adults, and handling ourselves in the world and meeting each other's families, friends, kind of just building. We kind of just built this adult life together. So kind of that, in itself is special and leads to what we have.
Yeah. So, I guess the reason that I was looking to build something like this with somebody else is, like when I moved to Texas, and I've shared my background with you, but moving to Texas and I'm trying to get on my feet and find my way in the world and build something and start to continue to build a legacy and build a strong path forward for myself. Like, it's important to have somebody in your corner with you while you're doing that. And from the time that I met my soon-to-be wife, she did nothing but like show support for my dreams and supported me as a Black man. She filled in the pieces. She basically stepped up and showed that she wanted to build this life with me. And I find that you don't really see that. You don't really see that too often anymore. With social media, everything is so fast paced, and I've seen some of my friends whose relationships come and go, women come and go, and I just felt like she showed nothing but her wanting to be there to support me as a man on the journey that is trying to build, and we got together and building for the both of us. But that's what it was for me. It's just the support, the willingness, the love she showed me. She was open, and she's allowed me to guide her through life as well too. I think that was the biggest part, is her being open to my guidance and allowing me to lead her through life.
All right, so now you just said something that might be different than what you said earlier. See, earlier you said this is a modern relationship, and now you just said you're leading her through life.
So I do think I'm leading her and leading us through life, but I do think a lot of our decisions are still made together. Like, I'll present the plan and I'll say, hey, this is where I think we need to go. We should go down this path. We should take these steps to get there. But it's input from the both of us. It's not my way or the highway. So like I said, I do think I'm the leader of the family, and I'm guiding her as I guide my son. But it's input from the both of us, and we work back and forth to figure things out. But yeah, so it's a mixture of both.
So what if it's at a point, and it's strongly now it's at a point, and we got you got your kid, and you're like, nah, I want our kid to make this up, go to this school because this school is gonna have this program that's gonna have X, Y, and Z. She's like, nah, that's not the one. It'll be better over here because then it'll be easier because have these level of kids and the parents in the school, and you like, nah, but if the kid goes to this school, it's gonna have that, but they'll also have these networking and sports and all this and that. Who would make the decision? Just curious.
Yeah.
I'm putting you on the spot, but I'm not saying there's a right or wrong answer. I'm just saying, how do you guys come up with the solution?
Yeah. Just talking it through. Like, I think we would set everything out on the table, analyze everything. And
But a decision has to be made.
It has to be made.
We either got to go to Kayla's school or we got to go to her school. What school is he going to?
That's a good question.
You believe everything right about your school.
Yeah.
It's not a bad decision. There's nothing wrong with your decision. But there's nothing wrong with her decision.
So if I'm leaning towards Kaylin's school, then that's the direction that I'm leaning towards. And the reason being is I believe that I operate with the best intent for my son and my soon-to-be wife. And so I have faith in my decisions and what I think is the best for us. So I'm going to lean towards that. Like I just think that's the best way to go. Same way with and this is not talking about our relationship, but if you're talking sports or you have a manager at a job, you would want somebody to be able to make a decision and have faith that that's the correct decision. If you're a coach and you're trying to play for the last second, you will want to have faith that that's the best decision that you can make in that time, and you stand on it. And so I would stand on my decision. We go that direction, and it doesn't pan out, then that's when we reevaluate.
No, I just was curious. I wasn't even putting you on the spot. I just wanted you to make a decision because I think it's important. One thing I want you guys to understand, man, as men, I mean, we do. I mean, you women will always still look for you to make decisions. I mean, just always understand that they want you to have the plan. And if they fall off, they want you to be able to say, no, I was already overseeing this and you falling off. Just like you'll never not appreciate if you know that you're not holding up your end of the bargain and your woman held you accountable for something. You're not going to complain about that. You'll be like, so it's just that. Yeah, you gotta stand on it. And I'm not trying to put trying to put anything on either one of y'all relationships. If y'all have no problems, keep doing what you're doing. I'm not telling you to do anything different. I just was curious because this is things that come up, and I'm not going to say that there's any complete right or wrong way of doing things. And had plenty of relationships, and I did them plenty of wrong up until the one that I do now. But I think my wife and I are older than you guys, so there's some experience there. We come from a little bit older generation, so we have a little bit of a value system of how we look at things. I think it's still very similar, but probably a little bit more old school in some of the ways that we do it, and just kind of which works for us. But yeah, I just kind of want to get your guys' thoughts on that. As we go.